So what you're saying is every time someone's name is Richard, you have to approve the comment?
But their name wasn't even Richard.
That's the funny part.
I guess.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Dylan Talks Tone Q&A live that we do every Thursday night. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and the like button if you like guitar stuff. Whoa.
What'd you do?
I tapped a thing and I didn't mean to. I want to thank everybody for coming in and watching what we do. I also want to thank our Patreon supporters, patreon.com/DylanTalksTone. We're going to answer some of your questions and YouTube member questions tonight. So we'll do that in a few minutes, and we always put those at the top of the list, and we put them on the screen. So that's a cool thing. Also, DylanTalksTone.com is where you can get pickups, because we're going to talk about making your guitars better tonight. So DylanTalksTone.com. And then there's a couple other links in the description down below as well, like Runway audio cables, because that's all we use around here, and Sweetwater, where you can buy a bunch of gear and use those links. It helps out the channel. Okay, there you go. There's all the sponsory sort of thing out of the way. But please use those links. That's kind of what keeps all this part of what we do going, so I appreciate it very much. We are going to get to your questions. If you have any guitar questions, get in the chat over there. Put a bunch of question marks in front of it so Leslie can find it and pull it out. And we will answer those questions as we go. If you use a super chat, we will drop what we're doing and address that super chat question immediately and put it on the screen and shout you out and whatnot. As well as our Patreon questions that came in. The subject of the conversation tonight is due to the fact that I, over the last few days, have gotten to play some really cool guitars. Really cool. Were
they really cool?
Oh my gosh, yes. And I also bought a couple of really cool guitars. I also bought a really inexpensive entry-level guitar. And so, you know, as much as people want to get in comments and say, this cheap guitar is as good as this expensive guitar, blah, 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 the answer is no, they're not. But I don't know that that necessarily even matters. If the guitar is good, you're going to want to play more. And I've been... Super chat.
You've been interrupted.
I've been interrupted.
This is Van Shake Guitars celebrating 29 months of membership.
Dang, dude.
Thank you. Says, hi, Dylan and Leslie. That neodymium bass pickup weighs in at almost 10 ounces.
Holy balls, that's heavy. Wow, that's cool. That's neat, though.
Maybe when I grow up, I can say these words fast.
Neodymium. So get in the comments and tell me what... we're not talking about really cost here. Although, there are things that do come with cost. I was talking to my buddy Scott about this today, and we were like, you know, if you take a classic vibe telly and you put it next to this American Vintage 2 that I've got, there's just zero comparison. You cannot even say they're even in the same league. They're, by major factors, this guitar is better. And there are some tangible things to say that. So wood choice when it comes to weight and density, hardness of frets, the machine work on the fretboard, the fretwork itself, the pickups, and all those things are better on a more expensive guitar because those things cost more money to make, right? So that makes the guitar more expensive. So by, you know, process of elimination, a more expensive guitar, most of the time, if you look at the model lineup, the more expensive ones on the higher end of that model lineup are going to be better guitars. But sometimes it's only by a factor of 5 or 10 or 15%. This is what Scott's point was. He was saying sometimes you'll buy a classic vibe guitar instead of a bullet Strat, and it's 10 or 15% better. Is it worth twice the money? You know, this guitar is 4 times as much as a classic vibe Strat. Is it 4 times better? Yes, it is. So there are some some scales that make sense and some scales that don't. So instead of worrying about money, what I'm curious about is what you think is important to you. And I'm not talking about brands of guitars. When you pick up a guitar, what makes you want to play it, and what things about a guitar do you want to change? And I know the right answer is pickups. You always want to change pickups. DylanTalksTone.com. There's a link in the description. That's always the answer.
That sounds like one of those Chris things. Like, tell me what's the first thing you should change and why it should be pickup.
That's right. Exactly. That's why it should be, yes.
I mean, a Matt thing.
A Matt thing, yeah. Tell me what you should change about your guitar and why it should be pickups, and that's the only answer. What he says, the only true and holy answer. The only true and holy modification is pickups. I'm kidding, sort of, but what are the things that you want to change about a guitar to make it good, to make it be the one that you walk in the room and be like, that's the guitar I'm picking up? And like Chris so eloquently said today, that it's okay to own more than one guitar. So it's not like we have to have one that does all the jobs or is the be-all, end-all.
Everybody breathed a sigh of relief.
Exactly. So get in the comments and talk about that a little bit. We'll go through these Patreon questions and then we'll come back to that, because I think people get lost in this Squire is as good as this other guitar when that's not the truth. That's not the truth. But that doesn't make it not good. The fact that $2,000 Tele up there is way better than a Squire Strat is a matter of economics and the amount of parts and cost and workmanship and where it was made and all the things that go into it. That's a thing. For sure. That is a verifiable fact. You can look at the hardness of the frets. You can look at all the stuff. But that doesn't mean that any guitar at any price point can't be good. So what does it take to make it good for you? Which will be different than for me or you or you or you or you, whoever's sitting next to each other out there in internet world. So that's the conversation I want to have. Okay. What I'd like to do is do some Patreon questions.
Okay.
We'll let those pile up for a few minutes, and then we'll try to catch up.
Okay. Making it difficult for me. Ready?
Yep.
Oh, I already did that. Thanks again, Bandshake. 67 Goat. Are the Firebird pickups in pre-order status, or do you anticipate the normal 3 to 4 week shipping time?
I would say 3 to 4 weeks is just about right for Firebird stuff right now. We are probably a little quicker than that, but I would say 3 to 4 weeks makes sense. I hope it's 2 to 3. We've dug out of a big hole this week, and we're very happy about that. And I think we're going to be in the 2 to 3 week range here very quickly.
Did I turn that off? I don't know what's happening. Rob F. Hello, Leslie and Dylan. I'm about to purchase my first delay pedal. I can't decide between an analog bucket brigade circuit versus a digital delay. The pedal will go into the effects loop of one of my amps so I can start to experiment with a TPS pseudo wet dry 2 amp configuration. Any advice on which way to go? Thank you.
That is a matter of 100% opinion and what you like about delays. What I would do is do research about so a delay is going to be more pitchy. Analog delay is going to be more pitchy because it's modeled after dragging tape. Digital delays are a lot sharper. But, I mean, that's a real blanket statement, though, because it doesn't always totally apply. You're going to end up owning both. Because also, it's okay to own more than one effects pedal. Just want to put that out in the world. If it was me, I would get an analog delay first, because they're cool.
Gary has to go. There's a tornado on the ground 2 miles from him.
Oh, dude. Well, then you need to go.
I mean, I hope he's already gone. That's scary.
Holy smokes, yeah. So yeah, I would get an analog delay first. Just try it, and then, but you're gonna end up owning both.
Something is happening to me.
You're gonna
Sorry.
need both. You're gonna want both. You're gonna need both. So just get both.
I almost banned Chris Hendricks because of whatever your mouse is doing. Sorry, Chris.
My mouse
I
is
didn't
not
ban
doing
you though.
anything.
It just did its own thing.
It did.
Vincent, Dylan, congrats on the Firebird pickup launch. A couple of quick ones. Do the Firebird pickups fit a mini humbucker route?
Yep.
Would it be possible to order a Firebird pickup with a telly pick guard, such as for a Hinder hot rod telly? Thanks.
I am sorting out modded telly pick guards as we speak. I'll get back to you on that.
67 Goat. My Silver Sky SE has a rubber bandy twang to it that I have not found in any of my other electric guitars. It happens both acoustically and amplified. It is mostly present on the low E and A and more prevalent as you go up the neck. The notes are hitting the right frequencies, but the tone is not quite musical.
Sounds like you got a dead string or two. I would try a new set of strings. Then I would look at your nut and just make sure, when you fret nuts, that goes away, but not really. I would check your... First, I'd put new strings on. Then I would... and make sure they're seated in the trem block properly. And make sure they're seated in the saddle properly. And mess around with your nut maybe and check your nut height and see how all that stuff is. But it sounds to me like you need new strings.
Shane, I was thinking of trading my ESP Viper for this guy's Kramer Night Swan, but a buddy talked me out of it because he thought the Night Swan with a bridge humbucker and a middle humbucker but no neck pickup was a stupid layout. Do you think there is any merit to having the second pickup in the middle and not the neck?
I think you should get it because it's cool and because somebody you know doesn't like it. I get that kind of stuff all the time. If somebody in the comments says, I think this is dumb, that makes me like, I'm going to go buy that right now, and I'm probably going to like it, and because it's different, and because it's interesting, and I think that is interesting. I think neck-only pickup guitars are interesting, just because nobody really does them, and people kind of think they're dumb, but they're really neat. And Shane, you have enough guitars to know that each guitar does its own little thing and has its own tool in a certain way, and that's going to be a very unique thing. The bridge middle guitar, that's very cool, man. Just make sure you're not giving up. This is the only caution I would give you, is if it's a super niche guitar that you might not play all the time or you're taking a chance on, don't trade something that you really love. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing I would say. Sounds cool, though, actually.
That was it. You
All
ready
right.
to hear what people are doing?
Let's do it.
All right. That's a question. That's a question. That's a question. Mark Easter, the old guitar... Let me try that again. Mark Easter, the old guy, Pettis Automotive. He says color, neck, and pickups.
Interesting. Color first. I'm kind of that way, too. If I don't like how it looks, I'm not even buying it in the first place. I'm not even picking it up.
Ooh. Keith H., thank you for the super chat. He says, I bought the Epi Flying V. Box had a hole in it. Into the case, sent it back. Got the Gibson Natural Flying V. Love it. My number one for sure.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Awesome. And your stuff should be coming a different way. It's on its way to you. I sent it out earlier this week.
A different way.
Well, because he had the whole mailbox situation.
Oh, it was his mailbox? I thought you were joking.
No. There was an actual... Well, I think it's his mailman thinks there's a problem with his mailbox. You know how sometimes all of a sudden they're like, this mailbox
I'm too lazy
isn't
to put your mail in here.
Yeah. Therefore, your mailbox is not up to spec. Yeah. We've had that problem before, too. It was a lazy mailman. I had to go to the postmaster and be like, yo, your mailman is being stupid. And they're like, yeah, the mail lady that you really like is out sick. And she came back and everything was fine.
Rob F. Besides pickups, I look at the bridge, tuning machines, and nut.
All right.
Haas. Oh, so go ahead.
One thing I do want to mention, we're going to go off topic at 9 o'clock. That's what we always do. So just keep that in mind if you want to hang out for that, because we're going to talk about other stuff. So if you have off-topic questions not to do with guitars, you can ask those too, and Leslie will save them for later. And if she sees them. So you got to make sure she sees them.
How are they going to make sure of that?
By using a super chat.
Oh.
Naturally.
Haas says rolled fretboard sanded neck.
So those are two features that are very important to you. Now, here's the question. Do you do that yourself, or is that the way you like to buy your guitar? That's an interesting... I like that. It's unique. That's cool.
Rick Nardo, from a guitar store employee, I like a good guitar as much as the next guy, but my favorite acoustic, which I still use, was a crap import from Japan that I got at a yard sale 20 years ago for $15.
Isn't that awesome? There are some that are just like that. Yeah.
Jeffrey Egan says nuts, bridge, saddles, and locking tuners.
Cool. So again, features that you just care about on most of your guitars.
Jeffrey Egan said, did the mention of nuts remind you about off-topic chat?
No, but there was packages last week. There was people in the comments for days.
Oh, so the mail lady made you think of it.
Yes, about packages.
There you go, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
You weren't far off the mark. Eric Lettinger says, be a Gibson. That's what he needs.
I love it.
It needs to be a Gibson.
That's awesome. I was actually telling my buddy today that I had, because I was going to buy an SG with a tremolo on it, and Mike just bought one of those. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I was going to buy that, but I've been buying so many Gibsons. I was like, I'm going to buy a Telecaster instead. Oh, that's so funny.
Windsurf Maui says, neck feel is most important. I assemble my own guitar, so everything is custom.
That's cool. I dig that too.
Ada says, neck shape. And of course, the neck feel changes how you play it.
Agreed.
Oh, here we go. Super thin neck makes you fast, and a normal neck makes you play more melodically.
Ooh, that's cool. I like that you have a opinion about that. Like a method to that.
John OJF, of course the look that fits, then how does it feel in the caress of tone?
I get that. I'm probably, in most situations, never going to buy a Sunburst Telly or Strat, for example. I just won't even buy it.
Chris Hendricks says he's got to jump off. He'll watch the replay. And then he said, please don't ban me, Leslie. Sorry about that. Charles Wallace says, frets is always a factor, but I buy my guitars according to what Dylan pickups I have on the shelf. 3 more to buy for all my pickups, just saying.
Oh my God, I love that.
He buys pickups guitars.
First. You know, I think Paul McNary does that too.
That is so cool.
He buys pickups and then he builds a guitar for the pickups, which I think is really funny. That's awesome.
Guess you need Firebird pickups now.
Yep, somebody needs to buy some Firebird pickups. We sold a couple pairs today.
People are still giving me recommendations here. Keith H, thank you for the super chat. Keith, he says, the Night Swan is a signature model. Middle pickup is lower, used for clean, and back higher, used for dirty. Great guitar.
Interesting. See, okay, because I wasn't really familiar with, I didn't know that part of it. I knew I had just the 2 pickups, but I didn't know that part of it. That's cool. And I didn't know it was a signature model either.
We're going to get back to that stuff soon. Maybe. Thanks for the super chat, John OJF. What are your thoughts on a pickup for a Telly neck pickup in a guitar converted to a steel slide guitar?
Um. Well, a steel slide guitar. You know what you could do? Our T90 would be good for that. Would just drop right in. Or a Firebird pickup would be cool. I would try both of those things. Or, one or the other of those things.
All right. Let's get back to some. Curtis Chavez did say, man, that cork, pour, and reseal sounded perfect.
Thanks. Talisker, by the way.
Super chat from Natasha Nix. Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you, Natasha.
I just got a PRS SE 277, a baritone guitar. Do you make a set of 4-wire pickups that would make a good upgrade for a baritone? If so, please elaborate.
So the 277, are those 8515s? Let's see. Oh, yeah, that's cool. Okay, so I believe these are Yep, they're 8515s. So I would go with either our DAF, if you want a vintagey kind of tone similar to what's already in the guitar, or if you want to hot it up just a little bit, then I would go with our Super 8s, because they're wound the same, they just have a hotter magnet. But either of those would be a cool idea for that guitar. And none of them, you wouldn't lose clarity, even with the big strings. Like, it would be very cool. Either one of those.
And all your pickups are 4-wire, aren't they?
Correct. All of our pickups are 4-wire.
I knew a thing.
You did know a thing. Well, they're available 4-wire, yes.
Oh.
Well, because we're doing that vintage version of our regular, like our DAFs with the braided wire.
Yeah, but that's the not norm for you, right?
Yeah. Our default is 4-wire. Yeah.
So I was right.
Yeah. But I like people to know about the vintage stuff because it's cool for some
You just
things.
have to click the drop down.
Yep.
All right.
That's it.
Ready? Marcia Murray says locking tuners a must. Also, I think all 1K plus guitars should have them.
I disagree with you because locking tuners add weight and add complexity that some people do not like on all guitars. And vintage spec guitars, for example, this American Vintage 2 that I just bought, I would be pissed if it came with locking tuners on it. I want the vintage Fender Cloisons that are on it because that's what that guitar should have. So I disagree that every guitar should have it. However, something in the line above $1,000 should have them. I do agree. I think in this, for example, they do. There are some Fender Telecasters that come with them, but I don't think it should be a default because locking tuners are just for string change ease. They don't do anything for tuning stability or anything like that. It's just kind of a convenience thing that some people don't, like myself, don't actually find convenient all the time.
Super chat from Sassy Cat. Thank you for the super chat. Presentation, shape of the neck. Is it warped or fret sound or fret? And check the frets, I guess. Sound, balance. Does it keep tune? Are there any structural issues?
Presentation at the top of his list. This is interesting because Michael and I talked about this today. That is why he bought my Explorer. He said because when you open up the case and you're just like greeted with this coolness. And he was like, because he's got...
Yes, I know.
Every vintage guitar. I mean, I played $150,000 worth of guitars at his house today. And he bought an Epiphone from me. And the reason he did is because it's like This thing is the coolest thing. Like, it's just the smell, the look, the pink case, the everything. There is something to be said for that as being part of the experience that you don't get with an inexpensive guitar. And it's part of it. There is not a dollar value necessarily that can be put on that. But there's something cool about the vintage style case and this Telecaster versus the plastic case in this other Telecaster. And it's $400 cheaper. And it just changes the experience. I agree. Presentation. Non-tangibles. Isn't that what that's called?
Mm-hmm.
Non-tangible value.
Gary Simmons. For me, a good guitar is one that I like the neck shape and action, plus, of course, the sound. My inexpensive modded guitars are just as, quote, good as a tool for gigging as my expensive fancy guitars.
See, that's cool. So you've built your stuff to a purpose, and you've made it to where now they all have an inherent value to you. I like that.
Mark Easter, the old guy, Pettis Automotive, says a Squire FSR with Dylan pickups isn't as good as the new Seafoam green one.
No. The pickups are better, but the guitar's not as good.
That's a question. Happy Go Lucky. For me, the fretwork first, then neck shape. Can't get past crunchy or sharp frets.
Ooh, I agree. So let's talk about that for 1 second. Last week in our video, in our live stream, we discussed like quality of cheaper guitars and stuff and blah, blah, blah. So I actually went to Guitar Center this week for the purpose of looking at, and this is something that Scott and I talked about today too, looking at all of one type of guitar. So they had a bunch of Player Series Mexican guitars. And that was what we were talking about last week, was wondering. Remember I said I was going to buy one and see if the quality was better, etc. And what I realized was there is a lot of it comes down to the environment of the guitar store. And the storage and the shipping and the everything else. Because you could very easily tell, if I went and felt all the frets on the edges of all these guitars, there was some fret sprout on some guitars. But it was very easy to tell that the ones with more fret sprout had been hanging there longer. And the ones that were newer, that were just recently put up, did not have that. So one of the things that I think people spend too much time kind of, I'm just going to say bitching about on the internet is fret sprout. Because fret sprout is an environmental thing. It is not a thing from the factory. It's something that happens to the wood as the wood shrinks, as the guitar dries out, as it's being shipped and exposed to the elements. It is fixed in 15 or 20 minutes by somebody that knows what they're doing, and you could figure out how to do it in 15 minutes. We have a video on it. It's not that hard to fix yourself at home. And it's something that in most cases, unless it's really egregious, should not be blamed on the manufacturer. It is something that happens in the environment after it leaves the manufacturer. Whether it's in a big distributor warehouse for a long time, whether it's being shipped for a long time, all of those factors come into play. And like Fender, Mexico should not be blamed most of the time for fret sprout on a Mexican Fender that's been hanging in Guitar Center for 3 months. It's not on Fender. And most people need to stop worrying about that and just fix the guitar and play it. Or hold their retailer accountable and make them fix it before you take it home. But I wouldn't trust anybody at Guitar Center to work on my guitar. So anyway, I wanted to mention that because I did do that research, and it's something I've been thinking about talking about for a while.
Thinking about talking about.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, you have so many things in the queue now.
Well, let's go. Let's
Do you-
let's move along to some questions now. Because it's 8:30 and we probably won't even get all of these. So if you want to be bumped to the top of the list, hit us with a super chat. But we'll probably try to get through as many of these we can in half
There's a
an
couple
hour.
more I just found.
Okay, go ahead.
Ada, I would suggest saddles. Mike Olette says neck shape, pickups, and a Floyd.
First Floyd guy.
Rusty says sound, playability, then appearance. Appearance is the top of, like right at there with
Yeah.
for a lot of people.
Well, you want to feel cool.
It's Victoria G says sunburst is overrated, Dylan. I don't always agree with you, Dylan, but I agree with you on sunburst. Pink paisley, meanwhile, a color I like, gives me more confidence, so therefore I play better.
Dude, that's exactly what I'm saying. If you feel good, you'll play good. If you think the guitar is cool, you'll play better. That's the thing, man. I'm all about it. I want to talk about these non-tangible things. I think it's way more important than, well, this quality of guitar is just as good as that one because the laminate of the blah, blah. Like, who cares, man? If it's cool, it's cool.
I don't know if they just showed up, but Radio Guy says, Dylan, do you make pickups for baritone guitars? If not, what do you recommend?
We do. And let me know in the comments if you can. Most of the stuff that we make on our website will work in baritone guitars. There's very few things that I would not recommend. I wouldn't recommend our Quattros for baritone guitars. I would recommend the DAF, the Super 8 at the top of the list for our humbuckers for baritone guitars over our Thruxton or our Center Punch. And then all of our single coils will work with like Tele baritones. Our P90s will work very well with baritones. Our humbucker size P90s will work with baritones. Those are the ones I would recommend.
So why do people think they're different pickups?
There's a different frequency response with a baritone. It's a lot more lows.
But you're saying your pickups can cover all the,
Yeah, I think one of the things that goes away with baritone pickups that aren't good is a lot of the high end and articulation, and obviously our pickups never have a problem with articulation.
Right.
Like that's why you buy Dylan pickups, is because you want articulation.
So should we update descriptions to say that they work for baritone?
Yeah, maybe we
also?
should. Yeah.
All
Or
right.
maybe I should just make a baritone section and make specific
For the ones you would actually
Yeah,
recommend.
yeah,
and
maybe
why.
I should do that. And then make specific recommendations for each of the formats, so that people understand, and then it will also search better too. If we have that way people won't
Yes.
have to ask this question. Like it will go there and you'll
Well,
know.
that's why I'm saying.
That's a
that
good idea.
If two people asked.
Yeah,
must
in
be a
one night.
thing.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Super chat from Sassy Cat. Thank you for the super chat. What about a 3-tone sparkle sunburst finish?
That I would do. I don't like the brown. I don't like brown sunbursts. Like a normal Strat sunburst. I'm not a fan.
Hey, I just saw this guy.
Rusty Fenders. I love putting a face with a name. It was awesome seeing you on the Dylan Talks Tone on the Texas Toast podcast or live stream.
Yep.
I hope you can come out to one of the workshops that I'm at, because that would be awesome to meet you in person. That was really cool to see you on there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right.
now it's his turn. Sorry.
Thank you for the super chat, Rusty Fenders. I also saw you on Texas Toast.
Yep, we were watching.
Hi, everyone. Just got out of Texas Toast Guitars, and those guys are fun. Saw Dylan pickups and a pair of Strats, and wow, they look super cool. Can't wait to go again.
Awesome. Yeah, he said he wanted to sign up for a couple of things, so that's really cool. I hope to meet you soon. That's really neat.
All right. It's Victoria G. Now that I've changed strings on guitars with locking tuners, I would never choose classic style tuners. I'm too lazy, especially with the delicate nature of the high E.
Ooh, all right.
Oh my gosh. It's Victoria G. Also just said, oh my God, can you make a Which Dylan Pickup Are You personality quiz like it's 2004?
Oh my God.
I love that.
Wait, you know what we should do?
No.
We should put in all of the orders one of those things that goes. Remember those things in school?
I remember.
The paper things?
Yeah.
And then you say the thing, and then it's like center punch. That should be the pickup that you should buy next.
MASH.
Oh, anyway. I don't even remember the little song or whatever. There was like a little thing you said with like a little.
I don't remember.
Anyway, yeah.
Um,
I think we're dating ourselves.
Curtis Chavez. I love vintage Fender Clusins with the hole on top. Quick string changes, great tuner feel, and no sharp string ends to shred fingers or gig bags.
That's why they call them safety posts, baby.
Rusty Fender says he was so nervous. Those guys are cool to give an opportunity.
They are, yeah. Thanks for saying so. I think a lot of people think they're really crazy and obnoxious and whatever, but man, I tell you what.
I did before I met him too.
Yeah, they are the kindest. I cannot tell you how. They're some of my best friends in all of Guitarland. They are really good people. Really good people.
Jeffrey Egan says, I like locking tuners because I hate changing strings. Some real rat nests on a few of mine.
That's really funny.
Angel Raven 444 says, playoff hockey or Dylan Talks Tone. No Canadian teams tonight, so I guess I'll be here then.
Don't even get me started. You have no idea. I am doing
Are you, like,
this.
itching?
I'm doing this for you. We could have the iPad going over here with the hockey game on silent, but that would be just disrespectful. But you better believe that as soon as we're done here tonight, I will be in the living room watching me some hockey. That is 100% for sure.
Jason Albert said, Dylan, I like the idea of the 80s paper thing. It had to be after the 80s.
I mean, I remember it in elementary school and in middle, well, not elementary school. I remember it. No, it was 80s.
There's no way. Not for me.
No, not for, well, maybe it went longer.
Maybe it did.
Yeah.
I definitely don't remember it from the 80s. I'm just.
What about
say.
desk football with the little triangle paper?
I think that was when I was older too. I mean, I think maybe they started doing
So,
that when I was
see,
like
that
in the
stuff,
5th grade.
that stuff has gone a lot longer.
But 5th grade for me was in the 90s.
I know. I know.
All right.
I'm older than you. I do know this.
Just saying. All right. Ada says, Dear Dylan, do you agree with relics as appearance is most important to me as well?
Yeah, I love them. I love them if they're done properly. And I was actually, I will tell you, when I was looking at this telly that I just bought, I was strongly considering a custom shop telly instead. And I really like relic guitars. And the reason I do is because I like the way they feel. I like the way old guitars feel. I don't care about like the value and, oh, this vintage guitar has some kind of mojo garbage. I don't care about all that. If it's good, it's good. But I like how it feels. I like how worn in necks feel. I like how relic finishes. It's like polished off where your arm goes feels. I like all that stuff because the guitars actually feel very good. The thing is that my age does not give me. I have brand new guitars with nitrocellulose finishes on them. I will never, even as much as I play and as much as I beat them around and as much as we take them places with us, I will never wear a guitar in my lifetime. I don't have 60 years to wear the guitar in to that extent. So if I have to pay extra for someone else to do that work, because it is work and it takes time and it's an art to do it properly, I will pay that person to do that work for me so that the guitar feels good right now. That is 100% a legit thing. And the people that think it's fake or whatever, I won't disrespect them the same way they disrespect me about that, but they're wrong.
Jeffrey Egan said that was around in the 70s. So that's interesting. Maybe it's
Okay.
just been passed down.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right. Happy Go Lucky. Considering trading into a Les Paul Custom Reissue 68. Neck pickup sounds heavenly, but the bridge seems oddly brittle. Is that normal? Instrument feels fantastic. Should the pickup worry me?
No, sometimes they just sound the way they sound. I mean, you could replace it if it's, I mean, it's not $1 million guitar, so.
BC Rich 581. Dylan, Fender has a new signature Strat that has a fuzz effect built into one of the tone pots. Are onboard effects a good idea or just one more thing to break?
I don't believe in the one more thing to break scenario. I think stuff is pretty good. Like, things don't just randomly break these days. So I don't worry about it, but I think that it's makes the guitar a little, I don't want to say one-dimensional. I think it's cool, but I don't think I would use it all the time. You might. Depends how much into fuzz you are, though. You know?
Is that like a standard for people? Like, why would they choose that to put in a guitar?
Because it's a cool effect. And it works good on a Strat. Works good on single coils.
I have no idea. So this name I've never heard of. So we don't know what you call this thing. Okay, Sassy Cat, thank you for the super chat. We had cootie catchers, fortune tellers. That's what they're calling this thing. And desk football in the 60s, just saying.
Okay. I didn't know it was called that.
I mean, I knew, like, there used to be this thing where it was, like, you had to do something on your hand so you wouldn't catch cooties, but I don't remember that being any kind of paper thing.
I don't remember
and I've
that.
never heard that term.
That's funny, though.
Anyway, thank you for the
Because
super
cooties
chat.
were everything when you were little.
I mean, they're worse now. Imagine what kids are like now. Oh, Jason Albert says, I love fuzz. Whoops, sorry.
Yeah, well, then you'd probably be into it. I mean, I do too, but I don't know. The thing I'm curious about with that is people are picky about the kind of fuzz. So what if you don't like the fuzz that's in the guitar? That's the only other thing. Are you octavey fuzz or are you know what I mean?
Let's see. Oh, I'm not on the right tab. I was like, why do I keep scrolling the wrong way? Rusty Shackelford. Hey, Dylan, is a Telly with two P90s doable?
I mean, yeah. Is there a Ventera? You know what you do?
I don't know. People don't like desk football or something tonight. They mad. They mad.
About what?
I don't know. They just keep thumbs down it.
Oh. It's because I like relic guitars.
You think that's what it is?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think they just don't like paper football.
Is that what it is? Or maybe they have cooties because they couldn't get rid of them.
And they're mad because we judging them because
Yeah.
we don't want to be a cootie catcher?
Yeah.
That's a
Could
weird
be.
thing.
What was the question? I don't remember.
Is a Telly with two P90s doable?
It is if you have the right route in the bridge. So what you do is you go get a Ventera Telly, which only has one P90 in it, and then you just put one in the neck, and then you'll have two P90s. Or you get a baritone Telly, classic vibe, for like $500, and you put a different neck on it.
Fanshank says it's the Noventa, Dylan. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, Noventa. That's what it's called.
Oh.
Ventera is a different series. Yeah, Noventa, which means 90 in Spanish.
Radio Guy is the person who asked about a baritone. Sorry, I was talking to my daughter, but I noticed you did respond to my comment. Much appreciated. I play both country and metal, oddly enough, so I have different setups for both, of course.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
All right. Ed DePriest. I'm loving this loaded pickguard with the hot fives in the neck and middle with your S90 in the bridge. Pure machine for my Made in Mexico Strat.
Awesome. I was wondering how you were going to like that, because that's an interesting... We haven't done very many in that combination, so I'm glad you dig it.
feel like we're going to talk about cooties next hour. People are eating that up. Lolly Lou? I don't know. Do single coil pickups sound better for you with maple fretboard on Strat necks?
No, I don't care. Fretboard doesn't have anything to do with tone. There, I said it.
Vinny's World. If it's not a project guitar, then usually nothing. I usually buy a guitar because I like the guitar as is. I change the pickups for fun more than anything and other parts when they break or fail.
Makes sense.
People must just be still joining because I feel like they're answering the original question.
Yep.
Tim Ziegler, opinion on wireless 2.8 gigahertz?
2.4, I think is what it is. As long as you get a good one, the Amazon ones are kind of meh, but there are some good ones. The Line 6 one's pretty good. Spend some money. Don't get the Amazon ones.
Oh, it says I'm supposed to celebrate the first super chat from Radio Guy. Thank you for the
thanks,
super chat.
Radio Guy.
It says relic guitars give cooties. Where's my tinfoil? Oh, you squished it.
Oh, no. This is a spare piece, just in case we needed it for somebody tonight.
Where's your hat?
Well, I was on this hat. All I did was go like this.
I know, but where's that piece?
It's around here somewhere.
Oh.
And actually, the piece was wide enough, it wasn't on the back. You just
I
couldn't
saw
tell
it.
on video.
I could tell.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because yeah.
Because I saw you. That's funny. All right. Sunbase. My mood determines the guitar I play. The older I get, 55, the more I like variety in my guitars. I like my Squiers and my high-end stuff. I tend to play my mid-range basses and guitars the most.
Makes sense.
Killer Tom. I have many guitars. My best one is a 90s Squier Telly with DiMarzio Twang Kings that I have modded till the body is the only original piece.
I mean, that's fun. That's how we make our living. I'm not saying to not do it. I'm just saying it's to break it down what is actually making the guitar better. You know what I mean? That's great. I think everyone should upgrade their pickups tonight. Or order their pickups to upgrade their pickups next week or the week after or the week after.
Mark Hott. I know there is a big difference between an Epiphone and a Gibson. How big of a percentage difference between a Gibson standard and custom shop? Not Murphy's Lab. I choose a guitar that looks cool and the neck feel.
So a Gibson custom shop guitar is gonna be, the pickups are gonna be different and the electronics are gonna be slightly different, not that much. But the pickups are gonna be different. And they are going to look and feel different in the same way that, like, comfortable, I think. And attention to detail is just different. And a lot of times the specs are different. They will reserve, somebody mentioned this in some comment the other day, that a lot of times guitar builders or guitar companies will strategically make it to where the most desirable color combinations are only available in certain lines. And so, like, certain sunbursts, certain qualities of tops. So if you're talking about looks, a custom shop is going to have a much nicer, 4A or 5A. Like my Les Paul is a AAA top, which is a nicer top than a normal standard Les Paul. But it's not as nice, probably, as a custom shop where you can go and pick the top. That's the other thing. You can go to Gibson or talk to Gibson and pick all your specs. So that's where it really comes into play. So if you really want something that's unique and it's something that looks and feels the way you want it to feel, Custom Shop is the way to go. And it's worth the money.
Super chat from Alonzo White. Thank you for the super chat. Hello, Dylan and Leslie. I own a Squire Hum single. Do you sell replacement pickups that would enhance this guitar? I am ready to upgrade. I even bought the soldering kit.
Sweet. So, we do. And on the front page of our website right now, if you scroll down to top sellers, there are loaded pick guards for your Squire that you can choose the pickups out of our lineup. You can choose the color of pick guard that you want, and we will ship it to you completely done, and all you'll have to do is solder on the output jack, which we will also provide. And we use a pure tone output jack, and then we will provide that, and then you just string it through the little hole in your Strat, solder the output jack on, put the football on, drop it all down, boom, done.
Boom.
Boom.
Patrick Jean LeBlanc Hardy. That's a long name. I think it's Patrick Hardy, but I don't know why he has a new name. Hello, everybody, everyone. Dylan and Leslie. I will be buying your clear humbucker in 3 weeks. Should I go for Super 8 for one tone and one volume guitar?
That's what I would do. I'm actually putting that in the guitar next week. Oh my gosh.
Rusty, why don't they sell guitars without electronics so you can choose what you want?
They do. You can go to like Stratosphere Parts or whatever and buy like a husk of a guitar and put all your own stuff in it.
Husk.
And so does Warmouth. I mean, that's what Warmouth is, really. Or I have always told people, buy something off of Craigslist that looks cool and is super cheap. Maybe it's a neat color. And then strip all the stuff out of it. Or like that Ibanez Geo that we bought a couple of months ago and did that video a couple of weeks ago where it was that really cool chameleon purple color. That guitar was only $300. And we just pulled all the parts out of it and made it really cool. And now the guitar's really cool. It sounds great.
Rob F. just replied to Alonzo. He said, I cannot recommend Dylan's loaded pickguards enough. His Bonneville pickups made my Squire Affinity Strat a new guitar.
Thank you.
Oh, Ed Dupree said, also your ground wire. You won't be disappointed.
Oh, yeah. You have to put your ground wire on. That's true.
Good call, Ed.
We do make a little solder pad where you can solder it on, though.
Timothy Potter, thank you for the super chat. Update your pickup line tonight. Hey, baby, show me your Dylan pickups, and I'll show you mine. P90s, baby.
Oh, my goodness. I did think the other day I want to make a Totally Resonant
Thanks,
Bro
Tim.
t-shirt.
I don't know if that's it. Do you say that?
I say it all the time. Every time we unbox a guitar, I go, strum it, and I go, whoa, that's totally resonant, bro.
Joe Meyer, how do noiseless pickups fail? One of mine is intermittent. Comes back on when I push down on it.
Because they are... First of all, the wire's really, really, really fine. And I know that sounds stupid because all of pickup wire is really fine, but this stuff's actually way finer. I think it's 44 gauge usually on those, which is really, really fine. It's pretty much as fine as everybody uses. And what they do is you have a coil on the top and a coil on the bottom, and those coil wires have to come over and come down to the bottom and come into this plastic bobbin. But I personally don't think they construct them properly, and where the wire comes over the centerpiece, so it's kind of like a Big Mac, where it's got the top, the middle, and the bottom, and that middle bun right there, where the wire comes over it, it pushes against it. So if your cover is on and it pushes against that little wire, sometimes you can break that wire. I don't think they construct that properly, and that it causes that. And maybe it's shorting out a little bit, and that's why you can push on it and make it work. I've had that happen before and seen it happen.
All right, a few more opinions here on what they like. Lee Asbury, I like any fretboard. Maple and rosewood are my choice. I don't have a preference really at this time. Limp Neck Mike, 90% of why I buy a guitar is the look. I can't help myself. No matter how expensive or cheap a guitar is, I inevitably end up modding it because I like to try new things.
Same. Understood. Totally get it. Love that.
Timothy Potter says, I love my Revstar, precisely manufactured by Yamaha, thoughtfully perfected by Dylan Talkstone.
Oh, he's got the lime green Revstar.
Perfected.
Or the yellowy lime green guitar, remember?
Yep.
He's got that one.
All right. We have 4 minutes. And
Speed.
Sir Sneaker Pimp says, I wish someone would make locking tuners for my Walnut Rickenbacker 36012 without modding the headstock.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Chris John, any thoughts on the Fender Player Acoustasonic Telecaster? I am considering it for busking, but not sure if they sound any good from online vids.
They sound great, and I will tell you that a little bird told me, who knows all the things, who designed the guitar, that all of the wood and everything is exactly the same as the expensive one, and the electronics are the only difference. And so if you can get by with the 3 settings that it has, it's going to be a great guitar. Just don't beat on the top because you'll crack the top. That happened to my friend and a couple other people.
Thank you for the super chat, John OJF. Big Mac. I feel like that's what he's calling you. Big Mac. Why wire so thin?
So that you can fit the wine count on there. Because there's not much coil there. So they got to put the wine count on there.
People at my grandpa's work used to call him Mac, and it took me a long time to figure out why.
That's funny.
I never put it together. Cecil Music. Why do most coil split humbuckers not actually sound like a true single coil?
Because you're cutting half of it off. And then you're ended up with this weak little thing. That's why we do it different. Because you're ending up with less than what a real pickup sounds like. When you cut half of the humbucker away, what you're left with is not as much as a regular pickup by itself. So that's why we do things different with our center punch, to fix that problem. Because you're right, that's how they sound. Usually.
James Howell. Do any single coils fit in Silver Sky guitars, or are they a different size single coil?
If you go to our website, we have single coil guitars. We have single coil pickups specifically for Silver Skies. And there are 2 different models. There is a model for the SE, and there is a model for the American. And the American version does the SE model and regular Strat pickups do not fit in the American one. However, we have a variant that does fit the American one if you want to change them.
I think this is James Howell again. Is there any way to intonate an acoustic guitar?
Yes, you have to file compensation into the saddle. And it is a bit of a trick, but you can do it.
We'll leave that for after 9. Jacob Barrel. Are your opinions of the
Illuminati?
Illumitones? But I don't know. It says alumnitones
Okay.
for all low impedance style pickups, or just for those specifically?
I don't know much about them. Those are the only ones that I have experience with, and I think they're just kind of sterile sounding. They're neat. I think if you play clean a lot, if you play fusion, if you play jazz, I think those are very cool. I personally don't, for the stuff that I like, wouldn't have much use for them, but they're cool. I like the technology. I think it's neat.
You have to talk for like half a minute more or something. Or just go ahead and tell them what happens at 9.
Oh, okay. So here's what happens at 9, because it's almost 9 o'clock. Every question that you ask after 9 o'clock has to be off topic unless It is a super chat. The only way you can ask a guitar question after 9 o'clock is with a super chat. Because this is what we like to do. We hang out with you and just get to know each other. And you can ask anything you want that doesn't have anything to do with guitars. And maybe we'll answer it. Most of the time we do. I don't know how many times we've not answered something. Most of the time we do. So
I don't think we've had any.
fire away.
First of all, let's go ahead and start here.
Okay.
Gary Redburn.
Is he okay?
Guitars are safe. 2 went right around us, 1 on each side.
Whoa, dude.
I'm glad y'all are
Is your
okay.
town of like is? Check back in. Like, let us know. That. Whew.
They might not know yet.
Yeah, they might. That might be true. Might be too early.
Cool. All right. Jeffrey Egan says, Leslie, I thought there was a ghost behind you, but it's the shadow from Dylan's head moving back and forth.
Oh no. Wow.
Oh, I see it. Do you see it?
No,
it's like
where is
high
it?
up there, way up on the shelf.
Oh, I do see it. I do see it.
You got a big old head.
It's a eclipse.
Yes, it is. Good call out, Jeffrey. That's
Yeah.
funny. Fat Philosopher said, I wish I could wear Dylan's shirt to my work. I'm stuck in stiff white shirts.
I
I
have.
didn't even know people still did that. What is?
Yeah.
Do you know what he does?
Nope.
Oh,
I don't.
I don't either.
I don't know what he does. I do know he works in Japan though, because that's where he lives. Have you had to ban anybody lately?
I mean, I almost banned Chris Hendricks on accident.
Huh?
But that was because something was literally, I was like, am I holding something down or like what is happening? All right. I just saw something. Oh, Jason Albert says Illuminati and tinfoil hats to Nights After Hours.
Oh my gosh.
Charles Wallace says Knife of the Night.
Knife of the Night is actually one of Leslie's knives. This is the Protec. So Leslie's theme is everything she has is black and purple. And so this is the Protec Runt, which is a California legal automatic with a Warncliffe or sheep's foot sort of blade on it.
Finding you.
That's good. And this is MagnaCut. So this is one of the... Actually, this is the only MagnaCut knife we have.
I was going to say, did you ever get one?
I have never
Just
gotten
me,
one.
huh?
Yeah. And then I'm carrying today my Winkler fixed blade, my Winkler SD1 fixed blade, because this has been one of my favorite knives lately.
All right. Rob F had to go. He had to get kids to bed. It's school night.
Makes sense.
Let's see. Bandshank Guitars. Bedtime. See you all Tuesday. Okay, well, it's a little slow tonight.
Maybe it will be an early night.
I thought for sure we were going to have to talk about cooties.
Well, I mean... So the thing about cooties is, you think when you're a kid that you don't want them. And then all of a sudden you realize that you really want them.
I don't know that I ever believed any of that.
Me either.
But I think I also had like a boyfriend in the first grade. So, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I also don't have, I mean, my sibling is much younger than me. Like, not when I was, so I think it's different for kids with siblings versus kids with no siblings.
Yeah. I've gigged with your eighth grade boyfriend.
Yes, you have. That's the first person you met.
Yeah, when I
that
moved
I
here,
knew.
when
Yeah.
I moved here 10 years ago or however long, 11 or whatever, yeah, she introduced me. She's like, this guy was my 8th grade boyfriend, and he's a bass player, and he's the first person I met in this town in any kind of music, anything.
I was like, is this going to be weird? Did you see these Will's playing with them tomorrow?
Yep.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, he's been playing with him, actually.
No, he's playing with his band. Like, he
Travis is playing with Bodega Cat?
No. Will is playing with Brownstone Gritty. But Will photoshopped, like, some crazy picture of him in the background of, like, their album-looking picture they always share. And he called it, like, Mick Brownstone or something.
Where are they playing?
Soleil, I think.
Maybe we should go have some sushi.
And Will was like, don't tell him I don't jazz.
I don't jazz.
Okay. Let me catch up here.
Okay.
Steve Rezer said, I wore my The Shits family shirt to work today. Angel Raven 444 said, okay, what are you drinking tonight?
You have water.
I have water.
And I have water, and I have a new bottle of Talisker Scotch, and I just had a little bit of that, and
I need more water.
And I'm done because I'm drinking water too.
Jason Albert said, hey, Dylan, did you name that knife Henry? Do you name knives?
No. I do not name knives.
I'm assuming he's talking about your other one.
Oh, no. No, this... Oh, Henry Winkler.
I was like, how slow are you?
I was like, whatever. No. What's the guy's name? The guy that owns this company is Daniel Winkler. He made all of the axes and cutting stuff for The Last of the Mohicans. He was been a master bladesmith for a really long time, but he was really niche-y, really super custom until that movie. And then a Navy SEAL saw that movie and wanted a tomahawk for his whole company or his whole team. And then he started designing knives for Navy SEALs, and that's what this is, a version of one of those. They're made in North Carolina.
Rusty Fenders says, do you like ramen?
Yeah. Heck yeah. I'll eat ramen even when I'm not broke.
That's because we don't eat cheap ramen.
Well, that's true. Yeah. Why don't we eat regular ramen that everybody... Oh, because the broth has stuff in it that we don't eat.
No, we could have the... I think they renamed it. It used to be the Oriental flavor. I think that's probably not politically correct anymore. It's the blue package.
It's the blue package.
And a lot of top ramen brand we could have. But we don't eat it because what we have is way better.
Yeah, it's a miso base, right? And
it is a miso base, but it's the Sapporo Ichiban brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
I buy it by the flat from Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah. So when it comes to Asian food, Leslie is very much more picky because her grandmother's Japanese, or was. She's passed away now, but Japanese. And so we have, when it comes to anything related to Japanese food, except knives. We don't have any Japanese knives, but I'm working on fixing that right now. I've been shopping. Shopping for Japanese cutlery is the most bonkers rabbit hole.
Compared to what that you like?
I'm not kidding. Usually it takes me a couple hours of research to come up with something. This is difficult because there are so many blacksmiths, and because first of all, I don't want a production knife that's just stamped, right? I want a properly hand-forged knife from Japan. So then there's all these blacksmiths. There's all this steel that I've never heard of. So like, over there, I could tell you, okay, S30, CPM 154, Magna Cut, blah, blah, blah. I could go through all the knife steels. I could tell you S45 VN, S35 VN. I could go through all the knife steels. In Japan, there's like blue and white and RS2 and like all these, and some of them are stainless, some of them aren't. Some of them are stainless on the outside and not stainless on the inside, clad. Some of them are Damascus. And of course, there's VG10, which I don't want. And there's like all this. I mean, it is a complete rabbit hole. And then, of course, the translation is hard. So it's like trying to learn a new language within the English language to figure this stuff out. It's really, really hard. I've been going over it and over it and over it, and I'm just going to have to buy something and see if I want it and like it, and then go from there, I guess. Because I'm getting kind of, like, it's blowing my mind.
Charles Wallace says everything gives you cooties. It's Victoria G says, I didn't believe in cooties, but I didn't like boys. Then I figured out I was too gay to function. I mean, you gotta learn.
Figure it out. You figure it out, I guess.
Angel Raven 444, Dylan, what was your first hobby or collection before guitars, bikes, knives? This is the best part. Asking for a fiend. I'm sure they meant friend, but maybe they meant fiend.
Maybe they meant fiend. So I've been playing guitar since I was little. But that wasn't really my thing.
Hobby collection.
I mean, if you want to go all the way back, like Matchbox cars and Hot Wheels. But as far as actual hobbies go, I would have to say skateboarding. Yeah, because I was big time into skateboarding when I was young. But bicycles came not long after that. And bicycles have always, I mean, since I was 13 years old, I saved up for my first, what you would call competitive mountain bike that I could actually compete and learn to race on as a kid when I was 13. So I've always been, but I was also skateboarding at that time too. So, but yeah.
Super chat from Richard Ryan.
Thank you, Richard.
For the super chat. Seymour Duncan Zephyr Silver Pickups. Cool, stupid, or don't care? Yes, no, or maybe.
All of the above. I think they're stupid expensive. I think it would be really cool to try them, but I don't care to because we've talked about this.
Yes.
Because I was going to buy a set for the channel and put them on the channel, and she's like, the problem, she brought up a good point. She's like, the problem is, if they're just kind of then nobody's going to want to buy them from you when you're done, and you're going to be stuck with $1,000 set of pickups for no reason. And so, kind of all of the above. I think they're neat, but
I'm commenting as you, my bad.
But I don't want to do it. Yeah. Good question, though. Every once in a while, people will ask that. Because I've thought about it over and over and over, and I always come up with that same answer.
No. Ada says, Dear Dylan, I think you're my age. Your birth year?
I'm not telling you. I don't talk about my age on the internet.
Fat Philosopher says, my kindergarten girlfriend was named Leanne. I didn't get another one until I got my first car at 16. Rusty Fender says, calzone is a lasagna wrap. I thought it was just a pizza wrap.
It's like, yeah, isn't it an inside-out pizza? It's like a pizza taco.
He loves them.
I love them.
Jason Albert said there was a game from Milton Bradley called Cooties in the 80s. I didn't play that game.
I didn't play that game either.
Rusty said his first boy girlfriend was Lisa. Savea Norton said bikes and guitars. Charles Wallace said peer pressure could be intense from people when I was in school. Glad we didn't have the cyberbullying. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gavin Argo, are y'all currently in the camper or back home? Me and my wife haul campers for a living. We are all over the country.
Oh, wow, that's neat. We have seen people like you through our travels. You can always tell because there's a dealer plate. We have a stationary home. We also have a Class B motorhome that is currently for sale. because we are making further changes soon, we hope.
SGD Cloud, thank you for the super chat. Hey, UK subscriber, if you could play a guitar you never owned or played, what would it be and what color ideally?
A guitar that I've never owned or played. If I could have a guitar? Wait, what's the question?
No, if you could play. If
I
you could play a
any
guitar you
guitar
never
I've
owned or
never
played,
owned.
what would it be and what color?
I'm trying to think of a guitar that I've never played.
Okay, well, how about one you've never owned? Because this is or.
57 Gold Top Les Paul.
I think that wrapped it all up. Color and everything.
Yep.
Timothy Potter says, Talisker is so good. Curtis
It
Chavez
is.
says, P.S. That was a sweet looking RV you were selling, Leslie and Dilly. Still selling.
It is for sale.
Yes.
Please buy it.
Rusty Fenders. Favorite motor.
Favorite motor.
That's all it says. Favorite motor.
Ram Air 4 400
All right.
from like 66. Well, actually, Tri-Power 389 from 65. That'd be my favorite motor of a vintage car. And then I like forced induction, so anything with a turbo on it, like I have an Audi now that I love. So probably if I could buy any new car right now, it would be something with the Volkswagen Group twin turbo V8. So like an RS5 or a QS7 or something like that. Or a Lamborghini something.
Sir Sneaker Pimp says, are you two this much fun when we aren't watching? Last week was a blast. You are the modern Lucy and Desi. I absolutely look forward to Thursdays.
So we saw that comment last week, or we saw something like that last week.
Yeah.
And we are always this fun. In the respect that we are always like this.
Okay.
We are not always this fun in the respect that our life is kind of boring outside of anything that we're doing with. I mean, I'm sitting there winding pickups all day, and she's sitting at a computer in there in the other room. And we are also very content. Like, after this, she's going to go in there, and what are you going to, like, be on your iPad, you know, doing some online course about something, and I'm going to be watching hockey, and we may not speak for an hour, but that's okay because we're not insecure about it. So we're literally like super chill with each other, but also someone will randomly say something and we'll laugh for a half an hour. So it doesn't matter. Like, we just don't care.
And also, I thought Lucy and Desi fought all the
So
time.
that was what I was getting to.
Yeah.
Is I didn't think we were like Lucy and Desi because I thought they fought all the time, and we do not fight. Like, we never ever fight. I can't think of a time when we actually got in a fight. I cannot, or even I can't remember the last time. I can't remember if there ever was a time where we have actually had like a blow up argument. We don't function that way. Neither of us work like that. So it's not even, we don't raise our voices or argue and I'm right, no, you know, I'm right, no, I'm right. Like, we don't do that. It's funny because a lot of people somebody even said that last week. They're like, well, what is Leslie going to buy you next after you sell your motorhome? And I'm like, those kind of conversations, that stuff just doesn't happen with them. We just don't function like that. Because somebody said right after that in the comments, well, she definitely wears the pants in the family.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I'm like, I mean, I'm not gonna like reply to that because that's doesn't even make sense. But we don't function like that. We don't have that. I mean, isn't that funny?
Yeah. I mean, I like pants, but
I don't like pants.
I mean, if my choice
Wait,
is
wait.
dress or pants,
Wait.
it's pants.
Wait, maybe it's she wears pants more in the family.
Maybe that's
definitely.
What it was. Yeah, that I would get.
She wears more pants in the family. That makes. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, maybe they just missed that.
You wear more pants in the family.
Yes.
Yes, because if I didn't have to wear pants at all,
ever pants.
No, I would never.
Ever pants.
Put
never
pants.
ever pants.
I would never put pants on if I had the choice.
Rusty Fender says, nice. I love the Sapporo. I didn't even think anybody would know what that was. Jason Albert said, I haven't had ramen since I was single. Missing out, man.
Oh, yeah. There's some good ramen. There's a place here that's a whole restaurant with just ramen.
I mean, I think that's pretty popular at a lot of places. It's not worth paying for.
No,
it's kind of good ramen already.
It's kind of expensive.
But if you never had good ramen, you should try it.
Yeah. It's a whole thing.
Ada says, Dear Dylan, would you believe that I own a Suzuki MK2 1978 car in perfect working condition?
Ooh, that's cool. Yeah, that's neat.
I think anyway, I don't know. Yeah, I read that. Jeffrey Egan said, you can make a good poor man's casserole with ramen noodles, mayo, and tuna. That sounds real gross.
Ooh, that sounds gross.
Angel Raven 444 says, yeah, they're better than any 80s comedy night. I don't know if that's like a dig. Like, why is it gotta be 80s?
I know.
Are we that old? Come on. What were we listening to tonight? Oh, the update on Natalie Holloway. And it was like 18 years ago. I was like, 18 years ago?
Yeah, because they made an arrest in that Natalie Holloway thing.
I don't think did they make an arrest?
Yeah.
They need to be extradited?
They extradited him. From Aruba.
Gary Redburn says, most of the area around me is farmland. I don't know what kind of damage yet. Near as I can tell, on the ground about half a mile. Other one was bouncing, touched down, then back up.
Wow.
James Howell says, Costco spring rolls go great with ramen. Costco spring rolls go great with anything.
And by themselves.
Or nothing.
Put them in the air fryer.
Toaster?
Not the toaster, but the air fryer. Let them babies go for a while. Some soy sauce and some spicy mustard.
Rusty Fender says, I want a real katana so bad.
Dude, you have no idea. I have shopped and shopped. And basically, to get a really good one with the proper hamon, the whole thing, I mean, it's $1,500. And yeah, you'll know when my ship comes in. There will be signs. Because I will have... My ship comes in, because I will have a katana.
And a suit of armor, we learned.
And a suit of armor, yeah. And a suit of armor. I will also have a suit of armor. And a room to put it in.
Jeffrey Egan says, I have a Tonto knife with a Sanmai blade I bought in Japan.
Oh, cool. Wait, so it's a Japanese Tonto? So it's got that, like, long, and then it comes up at the end? Or is it, like, an American Tonto that has, like, that super hard edge right here? If it's Japanese, it probably has that...
Swoopy one?
Yeah, the swoopy one, which is cool.
Timothy Potter said, I'm beyond the stamped part. I love my global knives.
Oh, I get that. Yeah. A lot of people have been recommending global. Yes, they're good. I am looking for something in particular. I am being very picky about it. Yeah.
Super chat from Tony Leonardi. Thank you for the super chat, Tony. Where did you get that hat? You know I need one for the same reasons. It is called Biddy and Buse Coffee.
Biddy and Bose?
Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Biddy and Bose.
Bitty and Beaus. It's a coffee shop. They do have online merch. Mm-hmm. And you can get you one there. So Biddy and Bose.
Yeah, Biddy and Bose coffee shop.
They have them all over.
Yep. And they hire 100% people with disabilities.
100% people?
I mean, all the people that work there have disabilities.
No aliens. 100% people. No dogs.
No dogs.
Rusty Fender says he was a skater boy. That's what I almost commented under your name.
I was.
James Howell says, I was super into skateboarding till I broke my nuts.
Uh-huh. You did an ollie and you popped off the front and the board stuck up, straight up, and you landed on it.
Angel
We've
Raven
all done it.
444. Dylan, have you ever been in a hot air balloon, ultralight, or airplane-like craft?
I think so. I think all of the above. My buddy, when I was a kid, had an ultralight, and I think I've been up in a hot air balloon at a fair one time, so not like a legit one, but like the one on the rope, and you just go up in it and ride and come back down. And then a bunch of small planes, because I've had friends with small planes. Yep.
Sir Stinger Pimp says, do you have an H Mart near you? It's a large Asian market. Some of their larger stores have a knife section and someone there you can ask information from.
We do not, but that is a good idea.
I think they have one in Atlanta.
Do they?
I'm pretty sure.
And we're going to the knife show in Atlanta, which is global. So it's possible that we could get something there. I did not think about that in relation to kitchen stuff until just now. But we're going to the Blade show in Atlanta the first weekend of June.
Charles Wallace says, my first girlfriend was at 12. I married her. That's cute. I hope he did marry her at 12, but because then that's creepy. But Angel Raven 444. Dylan, what team are you rooting for the Stanley Cup?
I don't care. I would really like to see the Maple Leafs make it, but I don't think they're going to. I like Edmonton because I like watching them on the power play because they're so good on the power play. I would say of everybody right now, though, because of where we live and because of how cool it is that they're in it, the Hurricanes. You know, that would be the most hometown team to us that's in the playoffs.
Jason Albert said calzones are giant hot pockets.
Yeah.
Steve Rezer said folded pizza tastes backwards. Angel Raven 444 says, Dylan, are you subbed to Foresty Forest?
I know who it is. I have not subbed to it. Them.
Ada, Dylan, have you ever driven Yamaha Torque Induction 110?
No.
James Howell says, go Kraken.
I do like watching Seattle. They are very good.
Angel Raven 444, Dylan, have you ever raced go-karts?
Yep.
I never raced. Well, I have raced go-karts.
Yeah, I've done that a bunch. It's fun.
But my go-kart memories are not racing, and they're like in the middle of fields and trying to sling off the person that's with you. Let's see. I lost my place. It's Victoria G. Thoughts on Blackhawks getting first draft pick?
I don't care. I'm a Detroit guy. Screw the Blackhawks.
Jason Albert said, so which sitcom couple are you?
Al and Peggy.
Oh. Wow. Wow. That's embarrassing.
Just kidding. I don't know.
Rusty Fender says, dude, you guys are couple goals. Everything you see on Insta is fake. Love is learning to grow old with someone and appreciate the time together.
Yep. Making memories.
I want to be old.
So, yeah, being old's dumb, though.
Curtis Chavez, are you a ramen or pho fan? I don't think much pho is not animal broth.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I've ever had proper pho, to be honest. That didn't get popular here till very recently, and obviously 15 years ago wasn't recently. Timothy Potter said, Dylan, you should try a utility kilt. Utility kilt. Is that a thing? Utility kilt?
I'm gonna Google it.
Tactical kilt.
Tactical kilt.
Charles Wallace says Charles Wallace, after meeting you guys, it's neat the way you guys interact with each other. I would do it again in a heartbeat. Yeah, so there are quite a few people here who know us in real life.
That's true, too.
Quite a few people. Jason Albert said, Dylan, did you get a chance to listen to the new music I sent you?
Oh, dang, dude.
That sounds like a no.
Yes, I did. I'm looking at this here, utility kilt.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Vinny's World said, I know I'm getting old when the headline saying Sum 41 broke up refers to after 20 plus years. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
This utility kilt thing is a real thing, man. There's look, tactical kilts. No lie.
I thought I was joking, man.
Camo and all. That one has a holster.
Holy moly, look at all those.
I know.
How do you keep your skirt up at that point? Windsurf Maui said he was in jail in Peru for killing a different girl, and Peru loaned him to the U.S. for extortion trial, then back to Peru.
Oh, okay.
Extortion? Extradition? I don't know what.
I don't know. Obviously,
Jeffrey Egan said, I guess this American-style Tonto then bought it on base in Japan, probably made for Americans.
That would make sense. Yeah, with the sharpened front, 45-degree angle blade. Those are cool. So if you look up Japanese Tonto, so Japanese Tonto and Japanese Kwaken are very similar, but the Japanese Tonto does have a secondary edge, but it's got a longer swoop to it. It's a really cool blade. Very cool blade.
Hawkman Hawk says, first deck, mine was a Schmidt Sticks Danger.
So my very first deck was, obviously I was broke, and we did not have a lot of money growing up, so I had to save up for everything, like mow lawns and save up. So my very first one was a Veriflex, because that was what you could get at Walmart for like $40. Was a complete skateboard. And then my next one was a hand-me-down Vision Psycho Stick, which is the one on the In Excess Kick album cover. That's a Vision Psycho Stick. And then I'm like Peralta for life. So I had Steve Caballero. Let's see, I've also had Christian Hosoi, but I was a big Steve Caballero fan. Still am to this day. In fact, I almost bought an Indian FTR 1200 just so that I could get the Steve Caballero tank covers. Like, I love Steve Caballero. Still. So.
Angel Raven 444 says, I broke my wrist skateboarding wearing Kiss boots in 1976.
That's awesome.
Eric Splitgerber. If you're ever in Seattle, Epicurean Edge is one of the best knife shops in the U.S.
I will look it up.
Timothy Potter said H-Marts are amazing. There's one in Raleigh. Robinson's Customs. General thoughts on artificial intelligence?
I think it's too early for me to make an opinion. I think there's too much stuff that needs to be discovered yet. I think that's a very Canadian thing to say. I think first of all, I think most people that are making opinions on it are not fully educated on it because they're saying really stupid stuff. But I also think that I don't know enough about it. I know that I don't know enough about it to make an opinion on it. I think I am of the opinion that they should slow it down.
In my opinion, as a writer, is that it's super convenient to get rewrites, summarize, paraphrase. It's fantastic.
You use it a lot?
Not a lot, but sometimes I use it. I've used it a couple times for prompts too when I'm like, why can't I think of anything right now?
Oh,
then
you
it'll-
use it for a prompt and then you write from there.
So
Is
I
it
think,
specific enough to what you do? Like, is it good enough?
um,
Because you're
I mean,
very
I wouldn't
niched.
use,
You're
I wouldn't
very
use
niched
the
now.
content, but it, you know, sometimes you just need something to be like, oh yeah, I could go in that direction. You know, just like a list of ideas
okay.
almost.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I have used it.
Yeah, see, you have a completely different use case for anything than I do. My brain goes to music, and my brain goes to,
No.
you know, being a
My brain
creator.
goes to, there's too much in my brain. Can you help me decipher this?
Well, there is that. I mean, that's what I use the internet for. People
Yeah.
ask me all the time about wiring diagrams and stuff, and I'm like, I don't memorize that junk, because I know I can look it up. I don't want it to occupy space in my brain, where I can use my brain for something else. You know, like shopping for knives. And
Let's see. Angel Raven 444 Dylan, when you get drunk or tipsy, do you spend hours on YouTube listening to songs late into the night?
I have been drunk one time in my entire life. I do not like being drunk, and I do not like being tipsy. Contrary to what people, contrary to what people have tried to say in many comment sections of many videos that I've made in the past, I do not overdrink. I don't like it. I don't like that feeling.
And
So
if
I
he's
don't-
up hours watching YouTube, it's
documentaries
documentaries. Yeah.
or how to. Lately, it's been how tos because I've been learning some new stuff. So it's been how tos.
Angel Raven 444 Dylan, do you do your own maintenance or do you pay others to fix your stuff?
On my car, I pay other people now. I didn't used to. I always used to do my own maintenance on my cars. On the motorhome, when we do, okay, so motorhome related stuff, I do myself because I know I will do it better than the people that do it because they're very cheap about that stuff. Like, I had my son details cars, so I had him come over and clean the car last night because I just wanted it done properly. And we live in an apartment, and that makes it difficult. So, cars, all my guitar stuff, I'll do all my own guitar stuff except for frets. I know how to do frets, but I don't like doing frets, so I pay somebody else to do that. And other maintenance, most of the other stuff that I have maintenance on is hobby related. So bicycles and knives and other hobby related things, I do my own maintenance because I enjoy it. So, you know, like Netflix and sharpen is a thing. Like where I'll just sit and watch YouTube videos or Netflix and sharpen knives, make sure they're all good. Or, you know, we go to the pistol range and I'll clean pistols afterwards, you know, while we're sitting there watching Netflix, or clean the mountain bike after a ride, or all those kind of maintenance. All that stuff is
Yeah, I can't think of anything we pay. We did just pay Bryson to detail our car, though.
yeah.
But that's because he's trying to start a business.
Yeah, I'm trying to support him.
So,
And I clean the car, but I want to every few months like really get it back to good, and then
it looks
just
like they did.
it looks great.
They took everything out.
He did a really nice job. Yeah.
I don't know what this means, but I don't want to skip it. Paul McNary says, HAL 9000 is greater than what are you doing, Dylan?
I don't know what that means.
I don't either. Rusty Bender says AI is great for inspiration. Yeah, that's kind of why I use it. Fat Philosopher said, if you could play a sport professionally, what would it be?
Hockey.
I would not.
I want to competitively shoot. I still want to. And I probably still will at some point. And I think that's a sport.
What's
But
that? I didn't hear you. I wasn't listening.
I want to competitively shoot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I was about to learn something about you, but I didn't.
You knew that already.
Jeffrey Egan said, what knife, sharpening stones, or tool do you use?
I have a work sharp. Whatever that one is, it's got the angles in the thing, and I can't remember what it's called. The work sharp. I have a little work sharp with just some diamond stones and a ceramic rod on it. And then I have whatever that work sharp one is where you can adjust the angle and then run
The knife stays still.
the knife stays in one place. So like it holds it like this, and then you pick the angle of this, and then you go back and forth on the blade. I can't remember what it's called. But I've got everything. I have a leather strop with some compound on it, on one side, and then on the other side it's just plain smooth leather, and this is hair raising sharp with just a daily on some leather. I keep everything really, really sharp.
Jason Albert said HAL 9000 is from A Space Odyssey.
Man, I don't remember that.
2001.
You're
A
right.
Space Odyssey.
That
the
is
AI
HAL 9000.
computer.
That's right. He had a real creepy flat voice.
I've never seen that.
It don't.
I'm not
It's,
surprised.
yeah, don't. It's like the longest, boringest, driest.
All right. I don't think I missed anything except Angel Raven 444 said I wore a shirt similar to Dylan's and got run off the road on my rented moped back in Maui in 1980.
That's awesome. It sure is.
You want to hear Curtis Chavez's comment about a kilt?
Yeah.
I tried wearing a kilt, but I started getting little ditches all over my yard.
That's pretty funny.
Robinson's Custom said, there's a bunch of guys here in Seattle at various software companies that wear kilts. Now I'm frightened. Not the kind of dudes I'd want to mess with, kilt or otherwise.
No, I think it takes a certain kind of confidence to wear one. I want to I am Scottish. That's where the MCK of my last name comes from. So I'm Native American and I'm Scottish, but my name comes from the Inverness region of Scotland, and I know the clan and the kilt, the tartan, so what's called over there. I know the proper one and everything, and you can get one and like have it framed and all the stuff. So I know all the stuff to get the right tartan and all that, and I've always wanted to do it. But that's kind of on the same level as having a katana. It's like you don't use it for anything, and so it's something that I want to do.
Could be our MC squared art.
Yep. Because we could get yours too.
MC squared art.
Yep. Yeah, her maiden name starts with MC too, so we were joking about just changing our last name to MC squared.
But you wouldn't let me.
I mean, why not? You could just start signing everything that.
MC squared? I mean, I can't read it anyway. It might say that now. You don't even know.
We should just do that. It would fit easier in the little credit card box.
I hate signing those things.
I'm going to start doing it.
Pooh Ninja said, what was that Nordic Sharp? What was the TV knife sharpener that would sharpen a credit card? I don't remember that.
I don't remember that either.
Super chat from Limp Neck. Mike, thank you for the super chat. Any thoughts on the new DC P90 and the Gibson Billy Joe Jr.? How is this noise canceling technology different from what we've seen in the past?
It's not. It's the same stuff. It's just
They got some cool marketing going or something?
It's just a regular stacked P90. Yep.
Do you have any thoughts?
I don't like them.
That
I don't like them. I think they're too compressed. They sound kind of dead to me. I don't really like them. But that's just because I don't like stacked stuff. I'm not a fan of stacked stuff at all.
No stacks.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for the super chat, by the way.
I don't know what this means. Rusty Fender says downhill or cross country.
Cross country mostly, but I started off downhill.
Oh, mountain
biking.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I see it now. I was like, what is MTB? Rusty Fender says, what can you tell us about invisible disabilities? I think that is a very loaded question.
Yeah.
Because it just is one you can't see. but it could be a slew of things.
Mm-hmm.
It could be autoimmune. It could be
Mental health.
mental health. It could be skin. You could cover that up. It could be various types of pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for me is that I have a spinal injury that, according to my age and how I carry myself 90% of the time, you can't tell. But I'm always, 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 always in pain. Like constantly 110% of the time, I'm always in pain. There's never a time where I'm not in pain. And that varies from not being able to get out of bed to like working for, not even working, like literally sitting this long is as long as I can sit. Like I'm already like, so
That's why he's so wiggly.
it is. That's why I'm so fidgety all the time, because I'm constantly in pain. And where that comes into play is, let's say, you know, your old lady neighbor is like, can you help me cut my grass? And I have to say no. Well, it looks like I'm being inconsiderate, because I would love to help her, but I can't. Or I've had to say no to some volunteer things that I've wanted to help with, because let's say if I do that today, then I'm dead for 3 days and can't work for 3 days. So like it's a constant management of, because I can't really work. I have to literally space out everything. Everything. So it's, by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 2:30 in the afternoon, I'm done. So I have to schedule every little thing. But when you see me, you don't know that. And so that's the challenge for people with disabilities that you cannot see, is living with this constant like stereotype and pressure of, there's nothing wrong with you, why can't you do this? And expectations of you as a human being that you don't understand, because you can't see that person. You can't see the difficulty that they're having. And so it makes me a more compassionate person, because I don't know. I just don't expect. I don't want to say I don't expect anything of people, as in I have low expectations of humans, because I don't. I feel very highly of human beings, and I know they're capable of a lot. But I try not to over expect things from people, because I don't know what they're going through, because they don't know what I'm going through. It just gives you a kind of a different perspective on life. So.
Yeah. Don't assume, but also don't ask, because that's rude.
Yeah.
Let people make a decision.
Yep.
And just trust that they made the right decision for themselves.
Yep.
Pooh Ninja says, fibromyalgia, that's no fun. Can't see it, just the constantly pained face.
Mm-hmm.
Angel Raven 444, couple questions. Dylan, have you ever had a shamanic experience?
No.
What is your fave band ever?
Nickelback.
I wasn't ready. Oh, Rusty Fender said, I didn't mean to get so deep. I was diagnosed with spine arthritis and just learned about invisible disabilities. I'm feeling heard. Thanks.
Do not feel bad about asking. A lot of people won't want to talk about it. I do want to talk about it, because I want people to understand it. And it's what she does for a living. She looks at she finds ways to help people survive in the world with disabilities. So that's what she does. And since I have one, since I got hurt, they gave me a 3% chance to walk. I should be paralyzed from the neck down. And actually I should have died. And then once there was survival, then it was, you're not going to walk and you're going to be paralyzed from the neck down. And then they flew me to Barrow Neurological Institute in Phoenix, and the top He is actually the head of neurology at Johns Hopkins now. He wasn't then, but he is now. He's my surgeon to put me back together. And because of him, I can do these things. Otherwise, I would be paralyzed from the neck down. And I am grateful for every day. But every day is difficult. And I know that other people have difficulties that they have to deal with. And that is, if you know, I want people to know and I want people to understand about it, because I think that it gives you a different level of compassion for people in the world, and I hope that that is contagious to other people. I am on YouTube all the time, and I have to deal with a bunch of morons in the comments sometimes. But that is why I have a very low BS meter, where I'm just like, look, if you're not going to talk to me like a human being, if you're not going to be reasonable, I have no time for you. We should talk to people like human beings. We should treat each other like humans. And this happening to me has really helped me to do that. I used to be a lot harder of a person, and I'm not anymore because of that. So I don't ever be afraid to ask about it or get deep about it, because I think it's really important for people to understand and learn about and know about other people and look at other people, like, instead of looking at them with a suspicion all the time, like, look at them like, when I see somebody, we were just talking about this the other day, when you see somebody different than you, when I see somebody, let me just speak for myself. When I see somebody way different than me, I'm like, or having a problem or having something, like, it makes me not be like, oh, that person is weird, I'm going to walk on the other side of the street. I'm like, that person has a story. I wonder what their story is. So just look at human beings as human beings as a result of it. And that's way super deep, but I think it's important.
Charles Wallace says, thank you for being such a good example and inspiration. It's great to see all you do. You are a positive influence on others.
Thank you, Charles.
And Rusty Fender said, wow, Dylan, thanks for sharing. Yeah, I'm sure you'll go through a plethora of feelings if you were recently diagnosed, and how you navigate now.
Yeah, there will be days, I mean, I'll tell you right now, I've had days where I still have them, where I get up in the morning and I swing my feet over to the edge of the bed and I put them on the floor, and it like makes me want to cry, because I am so grateful that they even work. And then it could be the same day later in the afternoon where I cannot escape this pain and I just want to scream into a pillow out of just pure frustration and anger because I can't escape it. So you'll go through, I mean, this has been 15 years for me of this. And so you'll go through that stuff, but overall find the gratitude in being able to function despite a thing, and it's a challenge that you're overcoming every day, and it's like, it almost turns into a game for me. Like, I managed my time so well today, and I was able to get this stuff done, even though this, and now I feel accomplished, instead of constantly feeling defeated all the time. So you'll just have to figure that out as you go.
Super chat from Rotbox. Thank you for the super chat. He says, much respect.
Thank you, sir.
They said, I don't know who Rotbox is. I'm making a lot of assumptions here. Speaking of not making assumptions. Awesome.
Cool, man.
This is the first time we haven't, like, left laughing.
No.
But that's okay.
It was great.
No, I think it was
We
great.
laughed a lot.
We did.
We had a good time. And we got to know people more. And
Yes.
This is fun. This is what I wanted to do. I love this part. This is my favorite video to make. Because I don't have to edit it.
Oh, I was like, what video?
Because I don't have to edit it. No, I'm just kidding. It's my favorite video to make because it feels like we're hanging out with people. You know, it's way better than getting some kind of macro shot of some tiny fret end, which is also fun to do, but this is way more fun.
Yes. Thank y'all for being here.
Yep. Check out the links below for all the stuff, And we will see you all in the next video.